and welcome to the Coach's Corner, the post-game show. You've got a special treat. You've got the Cox brothers in the house tonight, though, for a very special game. The Green Bay Packers come to the Carolina Panthers. We both grew up being Packer fans. Kind of strained me a little bit today, being a Packer stockholder, though, but I'm happy with a Panther victory.
Right. First team I ever pulled for when I found out what football was all about were the Green Bay Packers, Bart Starr, and that crew that won the first couple of Super Bowls. But unlike you, I had no problem pulling for the Panthers, and was happy to see them come away with a win and stay 8-0.
Well, I was a Packer fan for a long time. My first autograph ever, and I'm not into autographs now, but back then my Bart Starr autograph that I got at a Spartanburg Philly game and met Bart Starr, and back in the days of Bart Starr and Carol Dale, Donnie Anderson, all the guys, Herb Adderley, Ray Nitschke, all those guys, the Ice Bowl with Dallas and all. I used to love watching those games. We used to play electric football when we were little. And it was, I think, the Dallas Cowboys and the Green Bay Packers were the two teams. And I remember if Dallas would get ahead, I'd always turn the board up where it'd vibrate and everybody'd fall down, and so nobody could score on that, though. So, again, this is a game, big game right there, a game that I look forward to because I'm still a huge Packer fan, though. But, you know,
a lot of Packer fans in the area, too. Coming in, we were noticing there's always, obviously, a lot of jerseys from the opposing team, but I think I probably saw more Packer jerseys than I've seen of any other opposing team in quite a while here. So Packers did have a lot of fans here today.
And something I honestly noticed that really surprised me, they're going to retire Brett Favre's jersey. He goes in the Hall of Fame on Thanksgiving night there, but I honestly saw more Bart Starr jerseys out there, the old number 15 Bart Starr, than I did Brett Favre, of people that wore the throwback jerseys to the game.
Yeah, I mean, Bart Starr, he, as you said, we both got that autograph of Bart Starr, and I guess there's quite a few people still around that remember how good a player Bart was. They've had a lot of good quarterbacks, and that still holds true today.
This was a game today that a lot of people were saying was a measuring stick game for the Carolina Panthers. Panthers 8-0, the only team left in NFC that's undefeated. There's only a handful of teams undefeated, period, but this team still was not getting any respect, though. Maybe some of their wins have been ugly, but there's a lot of teams out there right now that would love to have 8 ugly wins right now.
Oh, definitely. Early in the year when the Packers were undefeated, people were questioning how strong the opposition had been. The Green Bay was favored coming in today, even though it was a Panther home game, and they were the ones that were undefeated. And I think slowly, but hopefully surely, the Panthers are finally winning a little bit of respect. But I think they still feel like they have not won it yet. That's not a bad thing. It's okay for them to keep coming out on the field with something to prove. That's I think some good motivation for them.
You know, and talking, listening to Cam Newton talk and some of the other players and all there too over the last couple of weeks, it's not going to their head. They just keep taking them one at a time. All we're going to do is win. We don't want to talk about home field advantage. We don't want to talk about playoffs. We just want to win, and that's the most important thing. This team has yet to put 4 quarters together. They played probably their best first half. I heard some people talking at halftime, their best first half they played in years there. But in the second half, you and I both knew Green Bay was not going to go away.
It was an excellent first half. I know you said coming in that Denver didn't do Carolina any favors by beating Green Bay last week. And you would have thought that Green Bay was the one maybe coming in, starting off the game a little bit more fired up, but it did not turn out that way. From the very beginning, the Panthers were in this game. They had an incredible first half. But we've all seen Green Bay come back time to time again. We've unfortunately seen the Panthers blow some big leads as recently as this same week, and but they were able to once again hold on.
Anytime you've got Aaron Rodgers on the other side, the game isn't over until it's all zeros across there. He proved that again today, though. Aaron Rodgers, class act, even in defeat, talked about how tough it's been. You know, people talk about you being 6-2, and he said, yeah, we played 2 undefeated teams the last 2 weeks on the road. You know, you wonder if maybe playing out in Denver and Mile High out there stuff and coming back and playing again tonight, you know, if maybe they were a little road worried.
Yeah, it's possible, but again, that's life in the NFL, and so I don't think they would blame it on that at all. That goes with the territory. I think all the teams have to face that. I think it was kind of interesting talking about the blown leads. I was checking on social media as the game progressed, and early in the second half, when Green Bay came out, scored a quick touchdown, shut us down real fast. Social media just lit up with a lot of Panther fans thinking that Panthers are going to collapse again. And but then they tightened up for the rest of the third quarter. Third quarter, they weathered that initial storm, but then made it interesting in the fourth quarter. I think the Panthers just don't like people to leave at halftime, and so they're going to make it interesting to make you stay for the rest of the game.
And again, this was the second game this week with a big fourth quarter rally by the opposing team. The Panthers had to demonstrate great goal line defense to preserve the win at the end of the game, holding Green Bay in the red zone for about 8 or 10 plays down there. When you do that with Aaron Rodgers and keep him out of the end zone, again, he's missing one of his top weapons this year in Jordy Nelson, though, but he makes all the players around him better. The guy's a winner. He was the MVP of the league last year. Will be in the running for it again this year, and he gave the fans a finish.
Most definitely, and I think it was significant that Cam Newton in the post-game interview, he several times gave an awful lot of well-deserved credit to the defense for preserving the win. He acknowledged that he had a turnover there, the interception there at the end that he should have never thrown. Left probably a couple touchdowns on the field where we settled for field goals just because the pass wasn't quite there. But as he said, the defense has just been playing incredible, and they certainly were able to preserve the win again today.
And again, I want to echo what you just said right there too. The big problem in the game Monday night was the Panthers could not get pressure on Luck. Well, Aaron Rodgers he had people chasing him the whole game. Again, he's the master of buying time to find a receiver open downfield, though, but the Panthers just swarmed him all day long. Really, his offensive line did not give him the time he needed. And on the final play of the game, the fourth down play, they got in, pressured the ball, deflected it, and then that gave Thomas Davis a chance to pick it off before the ball hit the ground on the goal line there, though. So again, Carolina Panthers have been known to have one of the best front sevens in the game, and they did not disappoint with their defensive line.
They did not. Rodgers was pressured throughout the game. I don't know exactly how many sacks he had, but beyond the sacks, he was pressured quite a few times, but hit quite a few times even after getting rid of the ball. And so definitely the Panthers defensive front did a great job of getting pressure on Rodgers the whole game.
Interesting scenario in the game today, too. We've had a little confrontation with former Panther Julius Peppers back in the house today, that when the Panthers scored their first touchdown, the ball was on the ground and Cam was going to get the ball to go, and as he calls it, the Sunday giveaway, where he goes and gives it to a kid sitting in the front row in there. And Julius Peppers picked the ball up. When Cam asked for the ball, Peppers threw it over all the way to the sidelines to the bench, and we find out later after the game there may have been a little something to it, that somebody from Green Bay hung a banner in Bank of America Stadium, and Cam Newton tore it down right there, though. Cam said, protecting our house. He said, you don't sell a Burger King Whopper in McDonald's, was his analogy on that right there, though. But that's kind of funny right there, that you had a former coming back here, a little thing behind, a little spice behind the scene that we didn't know.
Yeah, it was kind of funny when someone brought that up in the post-game press conference. Cam got that look on his face when he kind of looks like a little boy who knew he had got caught.
The hand in a cookie jar.
Yeah, it was, and he kind of grinned and acknowledged that he did feel a responsibility to protect this place, and for him that means that you're not going to put Packer signs up if he's running by him. So yeah, that may have stirred up a little bit of the Packers sentiment going into the game, but it still worked out okay for them.
Some other big story of the day is no drop passes by Panther receivers. Funches caught his first touchdown pass of the year. Philly Brown a couple times beat his man deep, were able to make big catches though. But and Cotry actually had some good catches. You got a good complementary serving of the other receivers to go along with a good dose of Greg Olsen.
Most definitely. We had talked about that coming in, that the Panthers had dropped a handful of just wide open passes that could have made a real big difference in some recent games. But as you said, no dropped passes, and not only no dropped passes, but some great catches in a couple of situations where particularly Funches would just, I mean, he couldn't have been any more covered unless they were wearing the same uniform, and I think they frown on that. And in spite of having somebody draped all over, he pulled in a great pass. And so the receiving corps did a great job today for sure.
Panthers were 37-29 winners today, though. But still, when they look back at the film, they're going to look back at points that were left on the board. That Cam Newton had 2 receivers open in the end zone, overthrew them, and then after a Green Bay fumble that the Panthers recovered at the Green Bay, I think, 37-yard line, Panthers get nothing out of it. And that was kind of big right there. So that was, 8 to 15 more points that could have been on the board for the Panthers that kept this game from actually being a blowout.
And for this game, it's easy to say it would have been nice to have those other points, but just thinking ahead, you mentioned earlier not having the big head. Who knows? It may be that the fact that they did have to scramble at the end might keep their heads in the game and keep them from getting overconfident. They realize that this game could have gone the other way, just as last week could, and so it's going to hopefully keep them a little bit hungry. And even with an 8-0 record, that obviously could go to your head. But when you're having to fight for them down at the end, that might keep that fight in there.
All right, the Panthers have had 3 tough games in a row here at home, to where they played Philadelphia, who was talked about possibly being a Super Bowl team, the Colts, Super Bowl team, Green Bay, NFC favorite to go to the Super Bowl this year. Now you've got to go on the road and play a Tennessee team that upset New Orleans today. You hope this team won't have a letdown, though, but you got to kind of guard against that, though. You don't have one of the big powers that you're going to be coming up against, though, but you've got a game that on paper they should win. But as we know, we're standing on grass. You don't play on paper.
That's true, and one of these teams that looks like we should beat them. Those could be the trap games that where you end up coming up with a loss that nobody expected, and we're not the only ones that know that's possible. The coaches know that that's a potential trap. The players know that, but in spite of knowing it, you still have to come out and be able to put it aside and be as ready to play those games as much as you're ready to play the Green Bay Packers.
Hopefully, this team has grown past those things, that a lot of the dumb mistakes they've made in previous years, or find a way to lose, or things they have seen or games blown, they have seemed to find a way to win. So hopefully that will be the case.
Hopefully so. We talked about that first half and how good that first half looked, but one of the things that I kept thinking about is that it was not any fluke plays, it was not any bizarre things that had the Panthers leading the Packers by that much at the half. It was good solid play on both sides of the ball. And again, the Packers did come back. They are the Green Bay Packers, and they're a good team. But the Panthers, again, with good solid play, held in there. So I think they are definitely gaining that respect game by game.
We were able to get the game in tonight without any rain. It's starting to get a little chilly out here, though. But again, big win for the first time in their history. The Panthers moved to 8-0. And something a lot of people probably don't realize, they have now won 12 regular season games in a row, dating back to their finish last year in regular season, and it carrying over, and right now have the longest winning streak of anybody in the NFL.
And that's a great step forward, and so I know that they certainly want to keep that going, and they go back to work tomorrow toward trying to do that.
Been fun reminiscing about Packer ice bowls and electric football, having the Cox brothers bring you our wrap-up tonight.
And I know you coming in, you said that you had you were a little bit on the fence as far as who to pull for, Packers or Panthers. And again, I've been a big Packer fan, but I had no trouble whatsoever with the way the Panthers put it on the Packers today. So enjoyed the game most definitely.
I'm happy for the Panthers and their win. I still had to come with my Super Bowl ring tonight, though, because I am one of the owners of the Green Bay Packers.
Well, hopefully your stock didn't go down too much with today's loss.
I don't think it did, though, but hopefully both these teams, I'd love to see them both win all their games and maybe meet again. And, Aaron Rodgers even talked about that, about maybe having to come back to play in Charlotte later in the season in the playoffs, and he felt like that the team, the Green Bay Packers, would be better next time around if they have to come back to Charlotte again.
And obviously the way things are going, there's a very good chance that the Packers and Panthers could meet again, and if they do, I hope it's right here.
And I hope it's for a trip for the Super Bowl, because then one of my teams will be there. Reporting for the Coach's Corner, I'm the coach, Dick Cox. He is the brother, Bill Cox, and we've had a lot of fun tonight.
Yes, we have.
Goodbye, everybody.